guys, and welcome back to my channel. Or simply just welcome if you're heading on over here from Mariah's channel. You guys might have guessed it, this is a collab video and I couldn't be more excited for this video because it's not only my first ever collab video here on YouTube, but it's with none other than Mariah of the Gals Guide. I seriously love her work so much. We are mutual admirers of each other's work. Everything she does is just so beautiful. Everything about her social media outlets is just so aesthetically pleasing. I just think it's like reading a magazine. You can just tell she puts so much love and effort into every photo she puts out, every video. Everything is so well done. Seriously, don't just go and check out her YouTube though. Check out her Instagram, her blog. I just love her work. And for this video, we decided to pick a shadow out for one another to use from a certain palette. We decided to go with the Vice 4. I decided to pick, hold on one second. The shadow I picked out for her to use in her video is called 1985. It's this really bright purple. This palette doesn't flip all the way back. If not, I would cover the mirror. It's always so awkward. The color I picked for her is 1985. It's a really bright purple, and the color she picked out for me, as you can see, this mess I've created, is Flame, which is like a really pretty orange pigment that reflects different shades of orange and red, which is really cool. So head on over to her YouTube channel to see what look she created with a 1985. I will link her YouTube channel in the description box below. And if you want to see this look I created using the shadow Flame from the Urban Decay Vice 4 palette, keep on watching. For this look, I'm going to be starting off with the eyes first, and I like to fill in my brows before I do anything else to get a good general sense for my eye shape and where I'm going to be placing the eyeshadow. So I'm going to be using the Make Up For Ever Ultra HD foundation to apply some foundation to the area around my brows before filling them in. So I'm just going to use a Zoeva 102 Silk Finish brush to pat some of this foundation around my brows. And then to reduce the amount of slip you get when applying a brow product, I'm just going to dust a little bit of powder onto my brows. I'm going to be using a Smith 112 brush and the MAC Minerlize Skin Finish Powder in Light Plus. I'm going to be filling in my brows with the Anastasia Brow Powder Duo in Chocolate and a Delium 735 brush. When filling in my brows, I always like to first apply it to the center of the brow and the tail. I never start towards the front of the brow because you want it to be lighter in that area. You don't want to start too dark in the front of the brow because you'll end up with a really bold, defined front part of the brow. So I always start towards the middle and then slowly start blending it towards the inner part of the brow. Next, I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier Eye Basics Shadow Primer in the shade Cotton to prime my eyes. I like to apply a few dots to one eye and then blend it out with my finger before blending it out on the other side because this product does like to dry fairly quickly. I'm again going to pick up the MAC Minerlize Skin Finish Powder and that Smith 112 brush to dust some powder across my lids to prep for eyeshadow. It's going to make it a lot easier to blend out the shadows. But if you have the Vice 4 palette, you can also use the color Framed to dust all over your lids before going in with any of the other shadows. Before using Flame, the first shadow I'm going to be using is called Bitter, and I'm going to pick that up on a Morphe M433 brush and apply that to my crease. I like to apply more shadow towards the inner part of the eye. I feel like it really opens up my eyes, and then I like to slowly wing it out towards the hairline. And then once I've applied that shadow across the entire crease, I'm going back in with a little more shadow just towards the outer V of the eye. Using a Zoeva 231 brush, which is like a large pencil brush, I'm going to pick up the color Delete and apply that to the inner and outer corner of the eye. I'm really going to pack that shadow onto those inner and outer corners because I want Flame to be the spotlight for the eye and really be the standout color for the whole look. And then using a Morphe M441 brush, I'm just going to blend these shadows out together. But make sure you're not blending over the center part of the lid because I want to keep that blank because that's where I'm going to be applying Flame. And then right in the center of the lid where there is no shadow, I'm going to really pack on Flame using a Zoeva 227 brush. And I'm actually really liking the way the shadow called Bitter looks with Flame. So I'm going to pick up some more of that shadow on that same Morphe M433 brush and reapply it to the crease and go over the darker shadow on the inner and outer corners. And again, I'm going to pick up the shadow Flame, but this time I'm going to pick it up on the brush and then spritz it with some Fix Plus to give the shadow a little more intensity. Now you can really see the difference. This is Flame when applied wet, and this is dry. And then use that same Morphe M441 brush to blend out the outer edges of the shadow. And then using a black kohl pencil, one that's really easy to smudge, I'm going to be using this guy from Lord & Berry. This actually came in my October BoxyCharm and it made its way into my makeup kit. I really love it. It's super blendable. So I'm going to press this into my lash line and then smudge it out with a Sigma E20 smudge brush. And make sure you do one eye before you move on to the next so that that eyeliner doesn't have a chance to set and it makes it really easy to smudge out. And I'm going to leave the eyes here for now. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my complexion and then go back and finish the eyes. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is take this luminizing liquid highlighter in the shade Nude Light from Joie and apply it to the high points of my face to give a really glowy look to the skin. It's almost going to look like a more of a lit from within type of look versus a really glittery highlighted type of look. And then I'm going to take my damp beauty blender and press that into the skin. And now I can go ahead and apply the foundation to the rest of my skin. I'm going to be using that same Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation that I used in the beginning and a damp beauty blender to press it into my skin. And then you can see that little bit of highlighter peeking through the skin, which is the effect that I really wanted to get. Now I'm just going to use a little bit of the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Honey underneath my eyes to really brighten up and cover up any darkness. And then I'm going to be going in with the Tarte Maracuja Creaseless Concealer in the shade Light Sand to conceal and highlight the rest of my face. So I'm just going to apply a tiny bit right underneath the corners of the eyes and pat it in with a beauty blender because I don't really want it to move from that area, which is why the beauty blender or your fingers work the best, so you can just really press it into that area. And again, I'm using the beauty blender to blend that out. Once that's been blended out, I'm just going to go ahead and set with powder. I'm going to be using a Sigma E40 brush to really buff that MAC Minerlize Skin Finish powder underneath my eyes to help prevent any creasing. I'm also going to use that same brush to apply the powder to the corners of my nose because I also get a lot of product buildup and creasing in that area. And then I'm going to use a Zoeva 106 powder brush to pat the powder onto the rest of my skin. Now that I have set the face with powder, I can go ahead and finish the eyes. I'm going to use that same Zoeva 231 brush to apply the shadow Bitter to my lower lash line. Don't feel like you have to smoke your eyeshadow out this much. I know I like to do it, but if it makes you feel more comfortable, take a smaller brush, like the smudge brush that I used earlier to smudge out the liner on the upper lash line, and use that to apply the shadow to the lower lash line so it's really close to the lashes and not so smoked out like mine. And then I'm just going to take that Sigma E40 brush I used to buff powder into my under eye area and use that to further smoke out the shadow, blend it out towards the hairline, and then also blend out the shadow on the lower lash line. To help blend out the shadow along the outer edge of the eye, I always pick up some more of that powder, the MAC Mineralize Skin Finish powder, and that same brush and just buff it out. To fill in the upper and lower waterline, I'm going to be using ColourPop's Best O Gel Liner, which is like a really deep plumish brown, and I'm going to apply it to my waterline using a Smith 304 brush. This is technically a lip brush, but it works fine for liner as well. I'm going to finish the eyes by coating my lashes in a really thin layer of Benefit's Roller Lash Mascara because I am going to be applying some false lashes off camera to save some time. The lashes I decided to go with are the Flutter Dimensional Lashes. Again, I don't know the name of these. I lost a part of the box that had the name, so I really need to figure it out because it's like the 10th time I say that in a video. I'm going to really quickly finish off this look by adding bronzer, blush, and highlight. The bronzer I'm using is the Make Up For Ever Pro Bronze Fusion in the shade 20M, and I'm using a Smith 118 brush to apply it to the hollows of my cheeks, temples, jawline, and down my neck. I'm also going to use that same brush to apply NARS's blush in the shade Orgasm. And I'm not going to be applying a ton of highlighter because I already applied the liquid highlighter in the very beginning. So I'm just going to be using a pinch of Ofra's You Do You highlighter with a Smith 112 brush, and I'm also going to take a little bit of that highlighter and apply it to the tear duct for a really nice highlight on the eyes. I'm going to be pairing this look with a super nude lip. I'm going to be outlining my lips first with NYX's lip pencil in the shade Nude Beige, and then filling in my lips with Bite Beauty's Buttercream lipstick in the shade Cream. Alright guys, that completes this look. Don't forget to head over to Mariah's channel to see the look she created using the Shadow 1985 from the Vice 4 palette. I will be linking her YouTube channel in the description box below. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and her channel if you guys would like to see us again. Bye!
I'll be dead if I take any more.